Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council. We have another huge day of news, and today I am not alone. Zero's going to be catching up with us today. He just got back. His cousin Howie, the godfather of the PMC himself, got married. Shout out to him and his lovely new bride. Wish them all the best. But Zero, how you doing, buddy? You excited?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Missed y'all. It was the worst weekend ever to not be available to make some Pokemon content.
I know, right? Like, I'm in the middle of moving this month. Brandon had a wedding, and then all that stuff dropped Saturday. I'm like, well, okay. We're going to fit this in.
Yeah, like while I was getting ready for a wedding, too. So it's like,
That's okay. That's okay. I had a couple hours, and it was really rainy here, really crappy weather. So, like,
yeah.
The stuff that I was going to take care of outside, I couldn't. So I actually was able to sit down and do a little bit of news. So the link will be in the description. Go check out our YouTube. There's 3 big old pieces of news that dropped. And today we're going to be kind of deep diving some more news that dropped. And today's Monday. So, Zero, you've caught up, right?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what do you think about the new map? You excited?
I am excited. So this map... we'll preface this by saying that this map will not be available in a ranked setting yet.
Correct. That's what all the leaks have said so far.
Which I think is smart because there are some huge changes here. If you guys look at this map, obviously, beautiful little new. It's not even a skin because some of the jungle paths are a little bit different.
That's the beautiful part. It's a brand new map. Like this is a completely different game now.
It is, because we're going to dive into what a lot of the wild camps do.
Yep.
You got new jungle camps. Obviously, you can see some Reggies, and then you can see a big green smiling dragon.
Yeah, buddy, my favorite legendary of all time.
Yep, and that's the game changer right there in the middle. Big. There's so much to dive into here.
So as you can see at the top of the screen, there's the picture that I already showed in the news video. Again, links will be in the description. Go check all those out if you want to get caught up there, where we originally talk about all these new wild camps. But now you can see them on the map where they're going to spawn. I guess, where do you want to start? You want to start with the jungle camps? So first up, we have Escavalier and Excelgor. So these are the brand new jungle camps. These are pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, they are, and I'll read these out if you want me to read these out.
Yeah, so just want to shout out real quick. Right now, currently, it's Bouffalant for the orange one, or red, or whatever, and Ludicolo for the purple or blue, whatever. These ones are specifically purple and orange.
Hey, if they ever make this the permanent stadium, they just remove remote stadium, maybe they could retcon Ludicolo into a playable character. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'll take it. I'll always play Poncho. He's a top 10 fave forever. So if they give me Poncho, I mean, I'll probably main him.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's go with Escavalier first. Defeating Escavalier will give your Pokemon an orange aura. While your Pokemon has this aura, its attacks can deal extra damage and decrease the movement speed of opposing Pokemon for a short time.
Really, really strong. So essentially, this is League of Legends red buff. No burn, but you have the extra damage and then slow on hit for autos. So very, very impactful.
Yeah, very impactful. All right, now let's talk about Excelgor. Defeating Excelgor will give your Pokemon a purple aura. While your Pokemon has this aura, the cooldowns of the Pokemon's moves are reduced.
Yeah, buddy. CDR built in. So obviously in League of Legends, the blue buff is mana regen. This game doesn't have any mana like resource, and then cooldown reduction. So it looks like they're basically just like at least half of it. Half the buffs are coming over to Unite. So I'm very, very, very excited. The buffs in League, obviously I'm a jungle main. People that are fan of the channel know that I talk about it all the time. In League of Legends, that was my main role. The buffs are so important. Like if somebody steals your buff, it's so impactful. You feel it so hard. Or if you go into lane and die and somebody gets both buffs off of you, oh my gosh, your partner laner is now looking at you like, come on, dude, really? Now I have to fight against this guy with double buffs?
Yeah.
So, it's a big deal.
I want to say this. I want to...
Yeah, go for it.
I want to make my opinion known about this. My knee-jerk reaction to this.
Yep.
I think this does not feel like the healthiest thing for the game.
Especially with Shell Bell energy amp, the black emblems.
The cooldown reduction and then more increased attack. Like, okay, junglers already scale ahead of laners so hard,
Because of experience.
right?
Yep.
So hard. Sorry, because it's uncontested experience outside of like Greedent rolling in and stealing your buffs.
Yep.
Which maybe we'll see that kind of meta return. But
imagine a Talonflame with double buffs.
A Talonflame with double Aegislash with double buffs. Like, it's the junglers.
And Aegislash comes in and hits you, and now you're slowed, so he can just stick to you like glue.
So I think it's going to be the junglers are going to scale so much harder than they already do, and everyone's going to want to play middle now. Like, everyone's going to want to take the central area. Everyone's going to want to jungle. We already have an issue with people fighting over jungle. I think in this scenario, it's going to get worse.
Yeah,
I think
on paper, I mean, it's going to be this. These are already like 10 times more impactful than Ludicolo and Bouffalant are now.
Yeah, I agree.
So now we're going to talk about some of the new additions. They have kind of answered a lot of our prayers, haven't they? They gave us a new map. Now we get to fight legendaries instead of like Rotom and Dread. Like, we got some Reggies here. We're going to start with the Lettuce himself.
All right, Reggie Lettuce. Let's go, dude.
So, there's not a whole lot to talk about here. It's literally Rotom.
It is.
It's Rotom. So, that will be more impactful, and we'll come back to Regieleki later. Just leave that there for now. Regieleki is Rotom. He spawns at the top, he's Rotom. So, but on the bot side, there's no Drednaw, Brandon. So, this is the first, like, really big change. Drednaw, what do you think of Drednaw right now?
Well, here's how Drednaw operates is, okay, if your top lane doesn't rotate down to Drednaw and you lose Drednaw, the first Drednaw, I should say.
At 7 minutes.
That's when you start losing.
Yep, that's where the snowball begins.
When the snowball starts, and it's hard to stop because all of your opposing like everyone on the opposing team, they evolve off of that, they get shields off of that, they get ultimates probably off of that. So like your bottom goal is theirs for the taking. Maybe even your tier 2 if they've been kind of snowballing you already, and then they win. That's where the trouble starts.
Exactly. I don't think it's very healthy the way that Drednaw works right now.
No,
especially first Dread. I think it's unbalanced how good it is.
I also think just the fact that not everyone rotates makes.
Yeah, the fact that nobody knows how good it is, except for the enemy team always seems to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. They always know.
So yeah, this is really big news. So in League of Legends, they have something, Brandon, called the Dragon. There's like a neutral camp that spawns. It's just called the Dragon. Back in the day, it was just a dragon. You just kill it and gives you buffs and blah, 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 whatever. It's just like an early game neutral objective you go over, kind of like a Rotom or a Drednaw. And then a couple years back, they changed it to where it was now Elemental Dragon, and there's 4 different types, and it's basically RNG. It's just a roll of dice of which one spawns at which time. You could have a game, there's Fire, Water, Earth, and Wind, and they each give a different global buff to the team that gets them. And then later on, they actually do like stuff to the terrain and all this crazy stuff. But the point is, it's random which dragon pops up. You don't get to choose, I'd really love to have a red dragon this game for more damage. Well, we got 2 blues and a white. You know what I mean? We didn't get a red dragon this game.
Right.
That's just RNG. Like, there's nothing we can do to control that or fix that. It's just whatever spawns. That's how it's going to happen with these Reggies. What do you think about that mechanic?
Well, I think that's going to make things even more confusing, especially for players who may not watch this video or may not watch Chris's video and get the kind of like the lowdown on how these Reggies work. I think 7 minutes is going to get even more chaotic.
Yep. It's a completely different game now.
It is. And we'll get into these buffs and then we'll kind of talk about what we think.
Yeah, you want to go through all 3 real
which
quick?
Ones are. Yeah, so defeating Regice will increase the HP recovery speed of your team for a short time. We need numbers, but that seems bad. Like,
yeah, it's just extra HP regen. It could be broken if it's something like a Trevenant passive, but it could just be a nothing burger. So numbers will really dictate that, but on paper it doesn't seem like that much, does it?
No. All right, defeating Regirock will increase your team's defense and special defense for a short time. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, just solid defense buffs. I like that.
and then defeating Registeel will increase your team's attack and special attack for a short time. This one is the best.
Yeah, this is the GOAT. This is the one that'll actually still make people rotate. Because the conversation right now is like, okay, so we talked about these three. Now we can go back to Lecky, right? Because Lecky is Rotom.
Yes.
I think there's actual precedence now for going for first a Lecky rather than maybe going for a bottom Reggie, depending on what spawns. So, like,
but now
the entire game could potentially change just from that alone.
I do think it will. It definitely will. But here's the thing: we don't know if there's going to be an indicator to which Reggie comes up first. You know what I mean? We don't know if they're going to say, "Hey, Regilecky spawns in 30 seconds." It's just going to be a Reggie. You know?
Exactly. We don't know. We don't know any of the details. I'm assuming maybe it'll say maybe there'll be an icon. Like, hey, Rock's coming in 30 seconds, or Steel's coming in 30 seconds, or Ice is coming in 30 seconds. It'll tell us which one is spawning. That's my assumption, because that's what League does.
If it does, that's going to be super helpful. If it does not, it's going to add to the confusion and the chaos.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But yeah, I think what could be a potential play, depending on game state, is, okay, you rotate down for Reggie Rock or Reggie Steel, right?
Yep.
And early game, you could use those buffs to dive the second tier goal, or the first tier as well, but say you cap the second tier goal, you get Reggie Rock and Reggie Steel, that could pave your way to attack the second tier goal in a way that you're not able to right now, because they won't have super jumps and you'll have these buffs. So it kind of evens out that fight right now.
Yeah, and it could make a real big team fight and force a push. Like, you could cap a goal. Like, there's a lot of potential here, but it's not as impactful as just, hey, global experience. Now everyone has our ultis and you don't.
Exactly. Like, it can help turn the tide of a fight, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as when you win a Drednaw.
Yeah, but you still have to be there for the fight is the point.
Yes.
You can't just be farming off mid and just, now I got more experience.
Exactly.
Alrighty, we've buried the lead long enough. Now let's talk about the bigger of the... We've talked about the fact that there's no more Drednaw. Like, in terms of, not just the physical poke, but the buff that it offers. There's no more experience buff. Now let's talk about the other huge elephant in the room, Zero. What's the number one thing that you've always kind of wanted to see change in Unite? Since day one, you've been asking for this.
There's two things, sir.
Yeah,
two
go
things.
for it.
Two big things that they both have to do with Zapdos. Well, they do and they don't. No insta dunking and no double scoring outside or inside of 2 minutes. And it looks like with Rayquaza here, one of these prayers has kind of been answered.
Oh, yeah. As you saw from the title of the video and the thumbnail, this is the big news of the day, because Unite's literally never going to be the same again. This is not the same game anymore. If the Reggie's Drednaw discussion wasn't enough, if the Scavalier Selgar wasn't enough, this is the one that's for sure, this is not even close to the same game as Remote Stadium anymore.
Especially if this comes to a ranked setting.
Correct. So, Rayquaza does not give you insta-dunks. That buff from Zapdos is gone. This is not like when they did the Articuno skin and it was just the same buff with a different poke. No, this is a completely different Pokemon, completely different buff, completely different everything from the ground up. So everything that we know, rotating the first Drednaw, that's gone. The Zapdos Insta-Scoring. So you just stick literally one toenail in there and boom, I can just hit the button and get the score and there's 100. That's gone. Those days are over. So before we get into that, how do you feel? Emotional?
I'm happy. I think...
Nice. Okay.
Before we even, kind of talk about the details, just
that news alone. No more Insta-Dunks, Brandon. That's enough for you?
Right. They've addressed, one of the biggest things. They've addressed what makes people stop playing the game.
Yep.
They've addressed, that makes people stop playing. It makes people frustrated. It's, just like that 50-50 coin flip. You can just be snowballing a game and you don't get rewarded for it. And it's
yep.
This is a
one
way
random little auto attack goes through and steals a coin flip or something.
Right. So this is big. Let's talk about what it does.
So there's actually two parts here. So because this Rayquaza, is the final boss, my favorite legendary of all time. They actually introduced his passive, Airstream, as a sort of passive on the field while he's alive, which I think is really cool. So basically, when he appears in the central area, when he, like Zapdos, when he spawns, as long as he's alive, there's going to be air currents, is what it says. There are going to be different places around the map. The number of air currents appear. They change depending on the number of defenseless goals, and the air currents will not form in the same location as a current open goal zone. So, like, the more goals you cap before 2 minutes, the more air currents are going to spawn. Basically, is how it works.
Yeah,
we don't know if he spawned in lane or not, but what do you think? It kind of sounds like it, right? Like maybe where the goal zone used to be.
We don't know where they're going to spawn or what direction they're going to move. Maybe it moves in both directions. Like maybe it moves against one team and for one team. Like we don't know that, but
it maybe sounds like it's the speed berry, but just like an AoE version.
It'd be really cool if it was like, like say you get KO'd at the Rayquaza fight, and then you respawn. You got to go through the mid. Like maybe there'd be an air current that gets you back into that fight a little faster, so you can help the team out or prolong the fight a little bit.
So I'm really excited. Oh, and then when Rayquaza is defeated or when he leaves the map, the air currents disappear. So it's only while he's alive.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, so we get a little bit of a teaser here. It looks like this is the name of the new map. So originally the leaks were calling it Sky Castle. It's obviously, like we said, based off Sky Pillar from Hoenn, which is where you find Rayquaza. But it looks like right here, Zero, we got the official name, the Theia Sky Ruins.
Pretty cool.
So it says that he appears in the final stretch. So again, presuming that it's the last 2 minutes, same as Zaps. That's what it says. The final stretch.
Yeah.
Defeating Rayquaza will grant your team a shield that increases the goal scoring speed and makes scoring attempts unblockable. So basically, it gives you a literal, no pun intended to the item, score shield. That's a really big shield on Charizard. Is that just me, or is that like really huge?
That's thick.
That's thick.
Yeah, that's like over a third of his HP, like almost a half of his HP put onto his shield.
Yeah, so I've done this before with Crustle, where you pop your ulti with Buddy Berry, you just have like this massive 1000 HP shield, and like, I'm just gonna score right in front of you.
Yeah, So one thing that's interesting about this text that I noticed, that it grants a shield that increases goal scoring speed. So I'm wondering if, you get this shield. So say you KO Rayquaza, and you get that shield instantly there. Like if the opposing team is there, they can chip away at your shield before you even get there.
Correct.
And I'm assuming if you don't have that shield, you don't get that speed increase on your scoring.
I think so too. I think that's exactly what it is. You see how the green bubble around him, the aura? I think you have to have that Rayquaza buff in order to have this extra speed to score, which means if somebody just punks you and breaks down that shield, you don't get you're just scoring like normal now. You don't get the increased speed. And we don't know how much faster the speed will be for scoring.
Yeah, like it could be super fast, it could be negligible, we don't know.
We don't know yet. But so overall, for what we do have in terms of information for this, what do you think of this? Obviously, there's still numbers and stuff to come later, which day zero will be there talking about it. Yeah. But on paper, I'm hopeful. I'm excited. This is way different than Remote Stadium.
Same. I'm interested to get on here and play and really sink my teeth into these changes and see if this is something that I think should come to ranked. But I love the fact that they're addressing the things that are driving people away from playing the game. Like this is such a good change. It's such a good thing to experiment with. I'm so happy to see them take the time and to say, hey, this is something that people don't like about our game. Let's get in there and let's find a solution. I think that's so healthy, like for the game overall.
Yep. And, same conversation, they're also rapidly increasing their release schedule for Pokemon on the roster, which is exactly, so they're ticking a lot of boxes. They're doing a great job right now.
Yeah, they are.
So I think that's going to wrap it up here for the news of the new Theia Sky Ruins, talking about the new Regis, talking about the new buffs, talking about the Rayquaza himself. My boy, cannot be understated how huge these changes are. I'm very excited to try this new map. Like we said in the beginning, this will be standard only in terms of like what we can tell from all the leaks and rumors. This is only going to be standard for a while, which makes sense. They're just going to test it out before they open up to ranked. But fingers crossed, this becomes one of, if not the ranked mode. Like maybe they just don't put remote in ranked anymore. Or maybe they'll have 2 different ranked modes.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting.
Something interesting to think about. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of all this. What do you think of the kind of 2 questions? What do you think of the Reggie changes? No more Drednaw buff. And what do you think of the Rayquaza? No more Zapdos buff. Comments down below. We really appreciate all of your support. We've been having fun doing this PMC stuff, and we have loads more news to talk about, so stay tuned. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of these new updates for the brand new map and characters for Pokemon Unite. Until next time, I've been Justin.
And I'm Zero.
Council's adjourned.